Hey folks, Frank the Pestgeek here. Happy Sunday to you all. Hey, you know what it is? It's Cigar Sunday. Um, I've got with me today a Alec Bradley Max. Really liking Alec Bradley's. Probably my favorites are Alec Bradley's, Rocky Patel's, um, Gurkhas. Starting to have some Gurkhas. Really liking those. Está fresco. My mom says it's cold. It's about in the 70s, 71, 72 today. Yeah, we're having a cold front here in Miami. She's freezing. So I'm taking a bunch of these over to the Paul J. Bellow conference. This is going to be, I think, the 10th through the 12th, 13, and 14, I believe. It's Deerfield Beach I know it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week. So I'm going to be there. I just got word that if you're going, take your combat manual, your cockroach combat manual, because from what I take it, Austin Frishman is going to be there. Now that's going to be a real treat for me, because Austin Frishman is the man that I looked up to. He was the guy with the Rhema word, I believe, from God, that gave me that Rhema word that I needed back in 2006 still, because I got into this business in pest control in May. I remember it was May 4th of 2006. I remember the date. I had the meeting in the office and that I got into pest control. And Univar has its conferences in December, right before the holidays. And so it was less than April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So 8-9 months later, 7 months, let me see, April, May. I'm having trouble with my months, man. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So we're talking 7 months. Yeah, I wasn't the sharpest knife in the shed at school, guys. I know how to look at bank accounts and say that's a good number, that's a bad number. So 7 months later, I'm here taking a course, and he comes up with this word. He says the future of pest control is green. And all the guys around me, all these 60-something-year-old guys who are tired, most of these guys, I've seen them lately, they're done. 13 years later, they're still doing the B&G with the Bifen, spraying baseboards, doing dollar apartments. That's what they've done. They've been doing it since they were shaking their head. Green, yeah. Man, I said, what a niche to get into. And I immediately started working on understanding pest control. And I understand that I was specializing in lawn and ornamental, L&O. I did not specialize in GHP. And I immediately started thinking, how could I make this green? Because I was spraying so many products that were organophosphates, that were just not good for me, not good for the environment, not good for my customer. And I said, how can I be greener? And then I started looking into organic farming. And I learned what I learned from IPM, from organic farming. I started looking at everything they were doing and what could transfer, down to the equipment, down to the nozzles they were using, the fine misting, how many gallons per acre they were applying. I started analyzing everything about organic farming and saying, if these guys can't afford to lose their crops, how much more important what they're doing is than ornamental plants, which aren't going to get destroyed in a week if you're not on top of them, when most people are doing quarterly services. And I learned the secret was frequent inspections. So I went from a bi-monthly, quarterly model to a monthly model and started charging super premium prices. I doubled my prices, and I immediately went to work at frequent inspections, being greener. I got rid of all the organophosphate products. Back then, all I had then was left over was pyrethroids. That's the challenge. All I had left was pyrethroids. Neonicotinoids weren't even available. They weren't affordable. They were just coming into the market. I mean, you're spending $1,000 a gallon for imidacloprid, for Merit at that point. And TriStar wasn't even in the mix yet. Thinoxazam, which was a Meridian, wasn't in the mix yet. And I started looking at what can I use, all that was left. And then I started looking at soil and biology and nitrogen and how much nitrogen contributes to fungal disease and how to use it properly. And I started looking at microbes, and I started looking at creating microbes in the soil and feeding the good microbes by getting rid of the fungicide to create its own nitrogen. And I started looking into amino acids, and I started looking into bioproducts. This was within a year. Within, I think, the next conference I was at the following year, I met Chris Hayes from BioWorks, and he was so blown away with how my thinking was that he decided to buy me lunch. And we sat there for a good 2 hours talking about the possibilities. Unfortunately, none of his products were registered for residential, of what could be done. Bavaria Basiana. I was dealing with Bavaria Basiana, which was a microtrol product from BioWorks. I'm talking about 12, 13 years before Apprehend ever made it into the market. I mean, I was very familiar with Bavaria Basiana before Apprehend. Let me cut this thing open because I'm going to talk for an hour and I'm not going to have a cigar. And I love this one. This one's a Maduro. This is the Max, Alec Bradley. What a draw on this. This thing is super nice. Super smooth draw. I'm getting cigars as bold and as big as my personality, folks. You got to live large, baby, if you're going to get things done. No, this is bold. Max, like me. See, this is Max, like me. Taking everything to the max. I got my ice Cuban coffee. That much milk, that much Cuban coffee, and that much water, and that much ice. Look at this. Look how dark this thing is. I don't know if you can see that. Let me do that. Oh, yeah, baby. There you go. I don't want to spill it. So I started doing all this research back then, and this is why I have so much experience with organics. Started trying to design an organic program, what would work. I looked at the Harvard. Harvard has an amazing study that they're using, creating compost tea. Problem with compost tea is I couldn't drag it around in a truck for a whole day. It would get damaged. You have to get it at the right temperature, immediately apply it. Driving it around would have destroyed the bacteria. Understand that all this is dependent on bacteria. I started doing testing with worm castings, and I started doing with worm cast tea. The problem is all these services require weekly applications. It wasn't until late 2007, 2009, that we had essential oils come into the play. And Essentia was one of the first, and EcoSmart, and I bought all those lines, and I started doing testing on plants, and started developing, we're using soaps, and using essential oil mixed with soaps, and I figured out a formula to where I was talking to Rockwell Labs about 1 year before they came out with 3-in-1. And I said, listen, I've been doing all these tests, and I found we're controlling diseases, and we're controlling insects. We're controlling all these problems in a landscape with insects that people are using bifid and they can't control it. And we're controlling Sri Lankan weevil for 3 months on commercial properties where they were spraying it monthly with bifenthrin and they couldn't control it. And it says, there's more to it than you know, because we're just coming out with 3-in-1. This was a year before they came out. I spoke with Jim Shuford about it. He can testify to this. And I said, I'm getting this control. We're getting disease control. We're doing 25B We are 95% 25B in our landscapes. We're only having to use synthetics as a root injection for palm trees and certain shrubs like ficus and podocarpus that are getting heavy. Now we're controlling mite problems with 25B. There was an outbreak of mites on podocarpus and on all kinds of plants in certain areas, and we're wiping them out with 25B. Spiders we're wipe out with 25Bs. We use dust, 25B dust for spiders. So that man, you have no idea what, and if you don't understand what a rhema word from God is, you need to look at your Bible, because that's one word that God gives you that changes your life. See, I'm a man of belief. I believe in God. So is he, because he's a Jew, and he's Jewish, and he believes in God. And my God is the God of Israel, the God of Isaac and Jacob. And so he said that, and nobody bought it. And I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I didn't know enough. I was too naive. See, from the lips of babes, you have perfected praise, the Bible says. I was too naive, too new in this business to be jaded by all the mentality that was out there in that group. And that was my blessing, that I was too ignorant to know it couldn't be done, too naive to know it couldn't be done. And I embarked on that path. 2013, I launched Nature Pest. I rebranded. In 2014, we launched the new brand. And here we are, it's 2021, and we're looking at doing eco-friendly termite service now. And how do we do it? It's very simple. You do it. You take the biology, you take the science, and you know what works and what doesn't. So he's going to be there. I'm hoping that he will give me an interview. That would be the highlight of my career, if Austin Frishman would give me an interview. If he would actually sit down on tape with me. On tape, listen, because I'm talking his language. It's on tape, on video, and give me an interview. Paul Bellow, which is his student, obviously is doing the conference, and I'm looking so forward to learning so much there, because, guys, I've never been to any expense for good training. All the training I've ever taken has been good training. I'm paying $3,000 this year in training myself, paying for the training to train, for the education, not the training. Okay, let's call it what it is. Mostly it's an education. Training happens in the field, one-on-one, like disciples, holding hands like Jesus and his 12, teaching them how to go and do things. Education is one thing. Conferences are one thing. You get knowledge, you get education, you get information. Training happens in the field, real training. That's the way it is. That's the reality. Training only happens when you actually execute and try it, what you've learned. You can go to a human resource conference, and if you don't practice what they taught you, there's never any training going on. If I don't take my people by the hand and give them everything that I've learned and execute in the field, it's not training. My podcast is the world's #1 training podcast, because people are looking online for training. Nobody is looking for online education for pest control. I got to be a marketer. I got to give you what you're looking for, but then again, I'm giving you what you need, and I'm giving you the practical steps to do this. So this week we're going to have, I'm hoping tomorrow night, Monday, Dave Thomas, I'm thinking of burgers, my bad, Dave Johnson, G&K, which is also the rep for Catchmaster. They're having their conference in Miami, and I'm going to go hang around, have dinner, maybe a drink at the bar with all the guys from Catchmaster, and go hang out with them, which is one of my beloved brands. You got to know that I love Catchmaster products. I love the glue boards that I use. I use exclusively Catchmaster glue boards. I use the ATSB bait. Final Feed that they bought. I used it 3-4 years ago when it was under the Terminex brand for mosquito control. It gives me better control than Bifen, than Sysmic CS, than any synthetic product I use. But the problem is some of you can't believe that because it's 25B. It isn't stronger. Since it isn't stronger and it isn't synthetic, it can't be as good. Impossible. I got properties that I've done demos on. Go check out my demo at Nature Pest. I did a demo on Final Feed. Go check it out. That property, that lady's been living there for 14 years. It's a jungle, surrounded by water, surrounded by bromeliads, which breed mosquitoes. And I started using that product. She says in 14 years she's been able to go outside at night and actually enjoy her backyard. She hasn't been able to do that in 14 years. One day I'll get a testimony from her because she's going to give me one. She's a writer. I told her to write me a good testimony. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going up to Orlando this week and going up to Apopka again to PMU for the master's class. So I'm going to spend Wednesday, Thursday, Friday over there. I'm going to go have dinner with Kid Romeo. If you don't know Kid Romeo, he used to be a wrestler for WWF, and now he's in pest control. He owns his own business now. Man, does he have that thing going on. And I spoke with him yesterday for about an hour and a half on the phone. I'm going to do some consulting work for him because he's looking to increase his calls, his SEO. He's hiring his first technician. Kudos to him for that. And we're going to have dinner. Hopefully we'll be able to do a podcast at dinner together on that gig. But we spent about an hour and a half talking on the phone about what he wants to do. And I said, bro, you're missing it because you've got something nobody has. You understand entertainment. You understand television. You understand the whole image thing. He could be greater, really, with all the knowledge he really has about wildlife and pest control. He could be bigger than Billy the Exterminator online. I mean, he can create his own channel, create his own brand, and I'm going to talk to him about that. I'm going to convince him because he's got that whole tattoo thing with the leather and the black commando. It's commando pest control and wildlife, I believe. He's getting wildlife and doing wildlife removal of alligators, and the guy just got the whole image thing down. It's just amazing. Check out his website. He's got an amazing website. It's pretty good. We started talking, so he's not ranking. And we started talking about SEO and what the need is. And I said, man, you need to be doing videos. You need to be posting on social media. You need to be doing a video daily on everything that you're doing. He's got the look. He's got the charisma. He's got the body. I mean, the guy's built like a brick house. He's a showman. He knows how to do this. I said, you're wasting your time trying to compete on a regular. You can be on YouTube and be a freaking sensation where you can go international and just blow up your brand like you would not believe. I mean, this is what I see in him. I mean, the guy's got the look. He's good looking guy, built. He's got the title belt and, everything. I mean, the full package. Plus, he knows pest control. Now he needs to do, my advice to him is going to be, listen, you need to just show that you're not just a pretty face, that you actually know this biology thing and educate people. And people will listen to you because they're looking at you and people will listen. So those are the things that I'm getting involved with, guys. How can we help those brands, man, that have a really USP? He's got a unique selling proposition. The guy is a Christian brother. He does so much good in the community, feeding people and outreach, and he doesn't say anything about it. I know he does it on Facebook. You've seen him. Sam Roman. So check him out. Check out Sam Roman. Check out his web. I'm going to link below so you can check out his website. The guy's just amazing, a human being. Those are the guys that need a break in life, that are doing the good things. They're honest. They have integrity with their clients. The Bible tells me to do good to everyone, especially to the household of faith. So that's why I'm saying, man, I'm going to be up in Orlando. Let's go. I'm going to be up there with PMU, and let's go have dinner. Let's go talk about ideas. Let's talk about things you can do. I'm sitting here with a $59 microphone, a $130 camera, a $39 tripod, and I'm doing this show. For less than $200, you can produce a show that people want to watch. Well, I hope people want to watch this. So, just did the Godly Business podcast this Sunday, and man, the importance of surrounding yourself with creating around you, just like a big CEO of a company, the importance of putting around you a board of advisors. Creating a board of advisors is vital to the success of your business. Having an accountant, having an attorney, having a person that understands marketing, a person that understands SEO, that understands branding, that understands human resources, that understands everything about business, the parts you don't have, and putting together a board of advisors that you meet with on a regular basis, maybe once a month, maybe every quarter, having a mentor that has done all of this, and listening to all of these people, and going to battle, going to war, being a wartime general that is well advised, well equipped, not just in the technical part, but in every aspect of business, human resources, human resource management, recruiting. If you're terrible at knocking on doors and prospecting, having somebody that can teach you to prospect better, that can help you with your brand image, that, having people around you. Here's the important thing, that too many of us fall into this trap that we're in groups, and we're in groups in the solo operator, because we're solo operators, and we're listening to all the solo operators. Well, guess what? They have solo operator mentalities. The Bible warns us that in the last days, people will mount for themselves teachers according to their own liking. Be careful. That is dangerous. Of you only listening to people that are, in the solo groups, and they're talking about how you shouldn't have employees, and how everything is a nightmare, and how all these companies rip you off, and everything is so negative. Why don't you hang around with people and surround yourself with people who have built businesses, attorneys that have nice practices, who are maybe believers like you, but you're listening to other points of view. I'm getting advice from people that run $6-7 million companies. I'm listening to them. They know what I'm about. They know where I'm going. They know that I have the chops to make this happen. This is why they'll give me the advice, because I'll take it. I want mentors and people that have been where I haven't been. And this whole idea that somehow you're going to listen to only the technical part, like what drill do I need to buy, and what chemical do I need, and instead of how many of you have actually built a $1 million business, and can you tell me how to get there? That's what, if you got a $200,000 business, we're talking yesterday about how his growth has been and where he's at. And we started talking, well, what's your average ticket price? I need to know that information to consult you, because if your average ticket price is $165, you don't belong on Google AdWords, because it's going to cost you 10 clicks at $24. It's $240. Unless you're selling $1,700 and $2,000 jobs in termites, Google AdWords isn't for you. So where do we get the most bang for the buck? And you got to look at maybe, where we're doing Google AdWords for underpriced words at $5. There's only 30 people a month looking for that, but maybe we can group together 100 words, 100 Google AdWords at $5 a click, and start getting you all these clicks, underpriced attention, where nobody's paying attention to these keywords, but there's plenty of customers in your area looking for that. And maybe instead of getting 200 clicks a month, you're only getting 10, and you're paying at $5 a click, so now you're paying $50 a lead, but these are solid leads because people are buying what you want. So we're talking about all these strategies. I'm going to sit down with him and bring up all these ideas because he's got a limited budget. He's paying $700 some dollars now for SEO, and he's on the seventh, eighth page of Google, and his ranking, I did an audit on his website and on his SEO, his ranking has actually fallen in the last 30 days instead of increased. You're paying for a decrease in SEO when you're paying for SEO? That makes no sense. So, this is why I'm having conversations with people. The variables from one company to the next is going to vary. I need to know intimate details about you, your personality, what it is that you're targeting, what's your realistic expectations. Just like I was talking, you're a bodybuilder, dude. If I wanted to bodybuild now and I'm going to the gym and I told you, how long is it going to take for me to get your body? He's going to tell you, bro, at least 5 years. Unless you're going to shoot up drugs. Well, that's the same way with marketing, with SEO. How long is it going to take you producing one blog post? But what if you were producing one video a day? And he's thinking, he's overwhelmed. He's like, one video a day? My God, I see your videos. These things are 1 hour long. I can't do a 1 hour video. I said, you don't have to do a 1 hour video. You can do a 1 minute video every day. I'm going to give you an idea that I'm going to give him. I said, what if you took, I just did a slide deck, and it's called a slide deck, 67 facts about rhodos, roof rats. And I took 67 facts. I said, why don't you take one of those facts and do one video every day that it's a minute long? But you can't do a lot of information on a video. Really? On a 1 minute video, you can't do a lot of information? You can do a ton of information on a 1 minute video. I'm going to give you an example. Here's a 1 minute video on the term trophallaxis. Ready? Start your timer. Trophallaxis. What is it? Well, it's how ants and termites take nutrients and they chew up the food and they either regurgitate it and feed it across the colony, the nest. You can use that term because customers understand the nest. And you do it around the colony, but there's also another one, trophallaxis, rectal trophallaxis, where in termites, if they eat this cellulose product and they process the cellulose and they process it to glucose and it comes out the other end refined. Now the food that they're eating and passing along is highly refined. In the term of bodybuilding, it's like getting almost pure protein that's refined that the body can immediately take up for bodybuilding. Now that took me less than a minute to explain. How many people in the marketplace know that? That's information they can only get from you because you're the guy giving that information. How long did that take? It took a minute to take trophallaxis and explain what it is across ants and termites. And I do a TikTok video, and now I post that video on Instagram. I'll post it on TikTok, I'll post it on Facebook, I'll post it on YouTube, I'll post it on Instagram for my commercial clients, and I'll post it on Twitter. And taking the video took 1 minute, doing the research took about 2 minutes to 15 minutes, posting it across all these will take me 30 minutes, and in 1 hour, you can do a video every day, right from your phone. You can edit it, because there's editing software that you can have on your phone. Me or somebody, because we're looking at putting an agency together, but we're going to be focused on media. We're not going to focus on SEO. We're not going to focus on building website. There's 2 million people doing that. One thing I know how to do is media. I've got 100, 200 videos on YouTube. I got 5,000 subscribers, more than any other company in my space. I got a podcast. We're going to develop 4 more podcasts this year, talking about plants and talking about DIY pest control, because we're going to educate the end consumer how not to get ripped off. Eventually create a national network of eco-friendly pest control people, or at least people that are doing some form of IPM or understand IPM and are reduced risk or specialized services and make that media accessible to everybody. So we could do intro bumpers for you and all that. We can create it in no time. And you slap on these little bumpers and now you've got a branded video. Takes you 5 minutes to, I can show you how to do SEO. I'm going to do a video on how to do SEO tomorrow. I'm going to record it, see if I can do it in the morning. Show you how to SEO a video. Create branded, we can create all the brand graphics across all your platforms, create all the channels for you. And you post once a day and you spend 1 hour a day. And by the end of the year, you will have 365 videos. That's more than any of your competitors combined. That's more marketing. And you will build up a brand on being your local expert in your area, because we'll do it all for local. And you got 365 videos across 7 platforms. You spend an hour a day. And you will brand yourself with that image. That's how easy it is, guys. But it takes work. I'm demystifying it for you to get you out of that mind frame that you can't do it. That you can't do it. Yes, you can do it. All you have to do is need the guidance. But I can show you how to do this for less than an hour a day. If you're doing long form videos where they're 15-minute videos and demos, and you're doing actual demonstrations, they take a little longer to edit, but not by much. I mean, I edit, post, and get it up there and get it across 7 brands. And I do it in the mornings. I start at around 6:30, 7 in the morning. Get it done by 8 or 9. So in 2 hours a day. You can even, if you're good writing, you can create a post. Create a blog about 1,500 words. And embed that video and watch how your SEO goes through the roof. When you create a new video every day, you're creating a new blog post every day. You take the audio. Here's the thing. You take the audio, and I've got software. I got software that'll take the audio, convert it to the written word, and then all I need is somebody to edit it. You can get somebody on Fiverr for $15 a day and edit that for you down to 1,500 words and do a blog post. Imagine $15 a day. That's what, what's 15 times 3? That's $90, $900 a month. Yep. It's $900 a month to get 365 posts on your website, which is more content than any of your competitors, and watch how you rank on Google and you get all this organic search. It costs money, but you're spending it on SEO and crap SEO that isn't working. You're spending it on ads that isn't working. That was my strategy. So I'm bringing on a full-time guy to do this. We started part-time, getting all the ducks in a row for the next week. We've got content out almost every day this week. I took my hands off of it, let him do it. And we're getting it done. And now next week we're going to start focusing on, we're doing it for 3 brands. Nature Pest, Pestgeek podcast, which includes the Pestgeek Academy, and Nature Pest. 4 brands in 4 hours a day doing social media across 7 platforms. And then we're going to start working on the website, not next week, but the following week when I get back, because I'm going to be gone all week. I won't be able to give any of that attention. I'll be at the hotel, and at night we'll be able to we're having Zoom meetings every day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 2:30 for like an hour, discussing what was able to be done, what wasn't able to be done. But every day I'm doing a Zoom meeting with him. That's management, because I want to make sure we're on track and what we're doing, and be realistic. Okay, what can you get done? What couldn't you get done? Why couldn't you get it done? You needed more time. You need more tools. What can I do to facilitate this? You know, do I need to do the SEO for you until you get because he's great at editing and posting and producing and getting out content and all that. He's brilliant at it. That's what he did for 18 years. He knows how to edit and produce, but he needs to learn the SEO part. And he needs to learn how to, so I'm letting him say, use your intuition. I'm guiding him. I said, Look at what I'm saying. You don't know anything about pest control, which is a blessing, because I don't need you to know anything about pest control. I need you to find something in that video that you found interesting that I said that is going to relate to the client, because you got to put yourself in the client's shoes. Oh man, I thought this was so interesting. I didn't know any of this. And then figure out what I said, use those keywords, put it into a title, SEO it, and send it out instead of making it for the industry. We're not writing for the industry. We're not producing for the industry. I don't need him to be an industry guy. I need him to think as a consumer. What are the trends in consumer buying? What are the, this is some quality cigar from start to finish. The flavor on this thing is freaking amazing. It's an amazing cigar. What are the trends that we're seeing in consumer behavior? Convenience, speed, protection. People want to know that they're safe. But the convenience of buying from home and making it easy for customers to buy. We're seeing those trends with COVID change the marketplace, change consumer behavior. And our pest control business has to be nimble to deal with that consumer behavior. So this is where we're at. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. I'm committed to the branding thing and the image and getting it out there and teaching other people how to do it. Why? Because it's all about local SEO, guys. It isn't who's ranking number one on YouTube. You don't have to beat me out. You just have to beat out every other competitor in your market. You don't have to create something like mine. You got to create something because nobody else is in your market. And when everything is SEO'd for local, when somebody puts out Pest Control Orlando, and you're there on video, and you're there in pictures, and you're there in blog, and you're there on a web page, you're there. That's what matters. And also then how do we incorporate ads maybe to be 20% to 40% instead of 100%? Can you do with doing better ads later? And we're learning how to do ads. We're not now. Look at guys like Billie Jean. I mean, follow Billie Jean. I bought the course. I bought it from my guy. I said, learn how to do ads. Because he learns like me. We learn by doing and testing. And that's the beauty of it. We see eye to eye on that. That I understand we're going to have to spend the money for testing, but I'll spend $1,000 to test ads and figure out which ad's produced and which isn't, and then just put all the money into that. But you got to be willing to spend the money. Spend the money to create where once a month you're meeting with your attorney. Like I'm meeting with my attorney on Tuesday. I'm meeting with Joe Jonovich after that, after PMU is over. We'll probably go out to dinner again. I'll pick his brain and I'll pay him for consulting. And he charges $100 an hour. He's going to look over my contracts. We're going to develop a market strategy through that contract, because the guy understands marketing, the guy understands business, the guy understands sales, he understands the liability in the industry, he understands. And so now I'm taking what the attorney did, and he wrote it purely from a legal perspective. We're going to edit our contracts and go back to the attorney and says, does this make sense? And now I got two opinions. You got to spend the money. Put $1,000 together before you start your business and say, let me spend it on consulting and talking to people. Oh, but I want to pick somebody's brain for free. Chances are his brain isn't worth picking. Like I'm going to be sitting down. We're going to go to Paul Bellow conference. Seth Garber is going to be there. I think we're going to do an amazing podcast for you guys on this because Seth Garber is a shark. He should be on Shark Tank. That's who he is. And he's good at it. And he is a salesman. He's your quintessential salesman, business person. But dang, does he know how to run business. So we're going to meet there. Got a couple of guys that I want to sit down with at the Paul J. Bellow conference and do a podcast with. Got some amazing people coming on board to do podcasts. Dang, I just forget his name. He works in insurance, and he was former president of the Florida Pest Management Association. He was a vice president of for an insurance agency. I met him the first time I took SDS and the SDS course, and he taught that from a legal perspective. This was like 7 years ago at Broward Community College. I just met him up in Orlando, and he was at a Popka doing one of the courses there. And I said, bro, you need to come on my podcast and talk about this, because he's an amazing guy. He knows his stuff. And so he's coming on board. I'm trying to get Deanie Miller, convince her to come on board on the podcast. She's almost there. Pretty sure she's going to come on board pretty soon. We got amazing people coming on the podcast, guys, that have a wealth of information. I'm going to see if I can get Mark Ruff, the attorney, on the podcast. I'm sure he'll come on if I ask really nicely. And I know how to sweeten people up. That's what I do. Yeah, guys, so I'm super excited. I just can't. Why didn't I get into termites sooner? People ask me, my customer even asked me, man, you know so much, and you gave me more advice and found more things than the last two guys that were here doing the termite inspection. Why haven't you done this sooner? And honestly, I got so bogged down doing L&O and then GHP and then going through personal tragedy, and I just put it off. And business, the things I should have done, where everybody was telling me you should do termite, I didn't do, and I put it off. And then I'm like kicking myself, why didn't I do it sooner? Because it's not that hard. Stop being afraid. I was afraid of the litigation and things I didn't understand. And then I take the courses and it demystifies it for me. This is why I'm so interested in doing courses, to demystify a lot of this stuff for you guys, because some of you guys are like, oh, L&O is too hard, this is too hard, that's too hard, everybody keeps telling me it's too hard. If you're in groups, man, everybody's going to tell you what's wrong. You know what the easiest thing to find on God's green earth is? That person that tells you you can't do something. And the reason they tell you you can't do something is because they can't do it. That's the easiest thing to find on God's green earth is discouragement. Everybody's discouraged. No wonder we have 65% turnover. People are looking to jump ship at their job. Discouraged. Because their bosses are discouraged. Why marriages are falling apart? Because people are going into marriage with the wrong attitude about what's in it for me, and there's no commitment. We got a society that has no commitment. So 50 to 65% of marriages are ending in divorce. You're in groups and everybody's like, well, you know, it's not as easy as you think. You need to spend about 5 to 6 years before you do termites. No, you don't. You don't need to do that. You need to talk to the right people, get the right advice, take the right courses, and then go do it. It's not that hard. What we do is not that difficult. Getting the right people can be more difficult. Training the right people becomes more difficult. It's not impossible. It's more difficult. More difficult doesn't mean impossible. It just means there's pain involved. There's training curves. There are things that you have to do. Had a great podcast with Carlos, who's starting up Organic. That's coming up on sales and marketing, because he comes from the sales and marketing side. And he just started up, and man, what great advice is coming on that podcast for you guys. That's just going to be an amazing podcast on sales and marketing, and understanding that. It's been a great week. I mean, so many things I got to do that sometimes I'm overwhelmed and I feel I don't have the time to do it. But Protocol, policy, procedure, people, products. The 5 Ps of business for me. And I'm learning to streamline everything that I do. I get to sit here and do the things I enjoy to do the most. Smoke a cigar, talk to you, have a cup of coffee, in an 1895 chair that I bought. Oh, I'm sorry, this was $16.97 because I got this one at Walmart. They have special pricing, you know. They're special. $16.97. So for under $200, including the cigar and the coffee, I can talk to you about real business, real life, things that matter, that are important, and bless your life and bless other people's life with what God has given me. Service this morning was amazing. Not to mention I did my own service this morning at home when I did the Godly Business. By the way, that's its own podcast. I'm including it in the Pestgeek, but if you want to follow me on Godly Business. On Facebook, we're going to have a Twitter, Instagram, everything up by next week, branded across the board, and we're going to be publishing on that. Plus, there's the Godly Business podcast, which is available on every outlet right now that I think they're starting to pick up on other. It's our RSS feed, which is the syndication, and then other are starting to pick it up. But we're on the major ones. We're on iTunes. Trying to see if it's already up on Google. I think it is up on Google. Plus everybody else, Podcast Addict, they're all on there. Godly Business is going to be on its own. We're going to take care of that. I'm going to do a Spanish one probably next year on Spanish business across the world, where we're going to be talking to Spanish business leaders. I'm going to probably do Pestgeek podcast in Spanish because now I have the infrastructure. I have the people to help me to produce it. And the production-wise, we're talking about 2 hours a day per channel. And so one person is going to spend about 8 hours a day just producing stuff for me. And then we're going to I told him I'm dealing with him on management and leadership. He doesn't have any management and leadership experience. I said, we need to build a team. I don't care if we build a team in Central America, South America, if we build one in the Philippines, if we build one in Vietnam. I'm kind of leaning towards South America. Why? Because I can hire people in South America to do the editing, to do the posting, to do all that. And what it costs me to do one in Colombia right now, or Argentina, or Venezuela, it's a fifth of what I can do it here. Read the 5-Hour Work Week. There isn't an SEO company that, we're all American based. Baloney. You'd have to be charging me $5,000 a month to be American based with writers and everything. Maybe you're writers, yeah, I would understand. But I don't need a guy that can read perfect English when he knows how to edit video, put a bumper on it, edit it, fix the sound, and upload it, and then we'll SEO it. I don't need to pay a guy $20 an hour here. I can pay a guy $20, the equivalent of that in Central South America, improve his lifestyle, give him the income as if he was living in the U.S. making $20, $25 an hour. Now he can live as an engineer, use his skills, bless his life the same way I can do somebody in the Philippines. English is better in the Philippines. This is why the communication is just better than with India and with other places. Just the ethics are there. And I said, you need to start thinking about developing a team, because for $200 a month, I can have the equivalent of a $2,000 person working here. American dollars, and he'd be making the equivalent of what he makes over there. It's a win-win for everybody. It's win-win for you, win-win for me. I can produce more content. I can get more quality content out. I can do more. There's an art and a science to this, folks. And you can get it done. But we're building our own in-house agency for our brands. The academy is coming along. I need to record 3 more classes. I might take my camera on the road and record the classes while I'm at PNU. It's just that when I get out of there, I'm so exhausted. But I'm gonna see what I can do on the road. I'll take my laptop with me and see what I can do to record. And it's just the quality of the recording that the computer sometimes can't keep up with that software. We use a software called Wirecast. I think it's like $700 to record, but it allows us to do so many things that we can't do with other pieces of software. We've got all the software, we got all the apps to do everything. We just did an audit for his website. We got SpyFu. I recommend you get SpyFu. Excuse me. I had a steak and salad at my mom's. She made me steak. Get SCM Rush, get SpyFu. You're going to have to spend the money. Forget about looking for free software. A lot of the beta software that's there is pretty decent, but for the good stuff, you got to pay for it. We pay $300 a year, I think, to get unlimited downloads on images, videos, audio, sounds, effects, so that we could do all this. Adobe Suite. We got the professional Adobe Suite. A lot of things you can do in-house. You got to start a little bit at a time. You can do it with very little software if you just got the knowledge. So I'm going to be doing a couple of videos on how to SEO videos, how to SEO for social media, and I'm going to do an updated video in the next month on update on on-page SEO. What I know about on-page SEO. I probably had to listen to about maybe 15 to 20 Neil Patel videos to get it, because he only gives you nuggets in every video. So you got to listen to about 15 to 20 Neil Patel videos. But if you got the time, I don't want to invest time. I asked him yesterday, how much time do you have? Can you put in an hour? How much time do you really have realistically that you can put in? He just hired a new guy, hired his first employee. I says, maybe you have him. He's a young guy. He's 21 years old. Why don't you pay him by the hour to produce on a daily basis for you, because you hired him part-time? The kid's excited about everything he does. He's excited. He's a wrestling fan. He's excited about who he works for, has great work ethic. Kid has 2 jobs. That's the kid you want. So maybe that's the kid you need to just do the video editing for you. So we're going to go to dinner. I'm going to tell him, bring the kid along. He's a man, but when you're 50 years old, everyone's a kid. And dude, just figure out a system for 2 hours a day. Pay him for 2 hours a day, 15 an hour that you're paying him, whatever it is you're paying him, and $30 a day. It's in a year it will pay for itself. Or do it yourself. You're like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money. Can you just tell me what to do? I can tell you what to do all day long. I can give you the entire system, but if you make excuses of why you can't do something, why you don't have the time, at night when I'm exhausted, I can't wake up any earlier, then you can't do it. I mean, it's just that simple. If you can't go to the gym and you don't make time to go to the gym, you're never going to be healthy. If you don't give up stuffing your face with burgers and fries every day, you're not going to be healthy. You got to give something up, and you got to pay, instead of paying $4.99 for a freaking burger and fries, maybe you need to spend $8 on a salad. And stop making excuses. I can't afford to eat a salad every day. Well, then don't eat. Go on OMAD, 1 meal a day, and that's it. And go on OMAD. Well, I can't live on 1 meal a day. Dang, dude, you might as well run into a cave with a tiger and put a bottle of ketchup on you so he can eat you. I mean, there's no help. I can't help you. You keep making excuses of why you can't do something. Somebody is running this awfully large engine, which is hideous. It's probably adjusting the carburetor. How many of you remember a carburetor? There you go, it's gone. So, I mean, we're dealing with all these issues. I mean, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the knowledge. Something's got to give. You want to learn how to do SEO on Facebook? Go on YouTube and listen to about 8 hours of SEO videos on YouTube, and you will figure it out. Man, that's a long time. Do you have something condensed? Yeah, I can give it to you, and I can sell it to you too. Because it takes work. You want low-hanging fruit, but you don't want to pay the price. You don't want to pay the time price. You don't want to pay the knowledge price. You don't want to pay the price. If I put up an agency, I told my buddy, I said, if we go to this agency thing where we are going to learn to do all this, and we're doing it, we're not learning, I mean, we know how to do it, but we're going to learn to do it at scale. I said, I can't take a customer on for less than $3,000 a month. That's our limit. So for a guy who says, I got $500, I said, you're going to have to do it yourself. I told him, I said, you're spending $750 a month on SEO, and you're on the 7th page of Google. You might as well not do anything at all and save your money and put it somewhere else. You're wasting your money. So I gave him my friend Joel from Apache, his guy, Gio, and I gave him, because he's in Orlando, there's no conflict of interest. I said, give him a call. This guy is amazing. And, you know, he did it for him. He worked. He says, I spent at least $10,000 trying to figure out and fired about 10 companies. And I found him, and he's actually working for me. He's actually producing results for a lot less than all these other companies are doing. If you're in Florida, get a company that's in Florida. Don't get a company that's out of state. Don't hire a company out of state. Hire a local company, at least in the same state. Have the hard conversation. I told them, you need to have the hard conversation with your SEO guy. I want to get here, and I need you to do an analysis on my market and tell me what it's really going to cost to get from here to here. I want you to give me the real number. Not what I can pay. You never go and say, I can only afford $750 a month or $500 a month, and then expect miracles. You need to have the hard conversations with your SEO people. Here's where I need to get. What are the guarantees you can give me? What's the real number that it's going to take to get from here to here? I need to beat out remember, this is a competitive sport. If your competitors, and you have 300 competitors in a market, that you need to eat your way up through Google and eat a lot of crap on your way up through Google, and it's going to take 150 pages because all of your competitors on the first page of Google have this many keywords, and you got to compete for 57 keywords. What is it going to take? How long? Well, I'm writing 1 blog post a month. That's 12 blog posts a year. Do you think you're going to rank in a top 10 market with 12 blog posts? No, you're not. This is fantasy land that some of you people are living in. That this is why you're getting taken advantage of. Because you're going in with these pie-in-the-sky dreams, and the salespeople are telling you what you want to hear and taking your money and not telling you what you need to hear. It's like, no, I can't solve this termite problem for $59. No, I can't solve this problem for this much. You tell your customers what it's going to take to really solve the problem. Why is it that you don't want to hear from a supplier, a vendor, a producer, a provider, what it really takes to do the job? You're asking on Facebook what they're paying. Like the guy in Twin Falls, Idaho, population 3, with 3 competitors. I mean, I don't know, I'm making that up. I don't know really what it is. Of course, if you have 10 competitors in the market, hell, it doesn't take much to rank on the first page of Google. There's only 10 spots on there. You got 300, you got 1,500 competitors. That's a lot more work, and you need to have a real perspective of what it's really going to take and what the time frame is realistically with what you're willing to spend. So when somebody says it's $3,000 a month, you got to decide, do I want to spend the $3,000? What can you get me for $500? Nothing. It's like I asked him, I says, you know, if I want to go to the gym and I want to work out for only an hour a day, but you work out for 4, and you're eating protein and you're eating lean, and I want to eat burgers and I want to work out for 30 minutes and have your body. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to become a world-class athlete like Tiger Woods playing on the weekends. I'm putting in 8 hours a day working on this. And this is what I did when I did SEO. I put in 4 hours a day for 2 years. From 9 o'clock at night to 1, 2 in the morning, I was doing SEO. I was doing videos. Every day for 3 years, 4 years, every morning on Tuesday mornings, I got up and I produced a podcast that took 4 hours to 6 hours to produce a week. I did a podcast. And that's what it took. The research, the writing, the recording, the editing, the posting, and the distribution. For 3 years in a row, I produced one podcast a week, and I did it consistently. That's the price I had to pay to play that game. You want to play in the field, and you want to play the game, you're not going to get good by playing basketball and taking shots unless you've taken 200-300 3-point shots from the same place over and over and over and over again. How do you get out of the sand trap in golf? You practice a shot that's probably never going to happen, but one day it is, and you practice that shot 200, 300, 400 times. How do you get good at karate? You practice the same kick 1,000 times. What is it going to take to do SEO? What does it take to do roach control? Doing 10,000 jobs like I did and have them under my belt to know what I can and can't do. 10,000 hours of practice to become a good musician, to become world class. That's the reality. And some of you want to go in and want to learn something by asking a bunch of people on Facebook that haven't done it. That's the problem. Because you want the easy button. There is no easy button. There's a price to pay. There's no easy button. So guys, I'm going to enjoy the rest of the cigar. I'm going to enjoy my coffee. I'm going to enjoy this cool breeze with a partially overcast day. Partially cloudy. There's no overcast. It's a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day yesterday. I spent it working most of the day at home. Catching up on things that I need to catch up before I leave because I won't have the time 8 hours a day next week to do it. So I'm trying to catch up on everything. Dreaming about building my new truck. I won't be able to build the lawn truck. I'm going to build a termite truck, which is much easier to build, much less cost, which is going to produce much more revenue. And the lawn truck will have to wait till probably next year. And so all these decisions I got to make. For the next year, I'll be doing termites. I got to do at least 2 jobs a week to pay for everything. But that puts in another $200,000 of revenue in my pocket. I'm going to build up basically a termite company. In the next year, we'll put up to an additional $175,000 to $200,000 a year. You're going to be doing, and then the renewals, and learning how to do a business strategy. But I'm listening to a lot of people. I got a lot of good people around me. Build a team around you, a team of consultants. Plus, do a lot of listening to the people that are around you. Go to war. If you're going to go to war, become a wartime general. You need a lot of people around you that are giving you good advice. Take the good advice. Don't ever take advice from anybody that hasn't done it. Don't listen to anybody that hasn't done it. Listen to those that have done it. This is Frank the Pest Geek wishing you a pestacular day.